wish he would have been in the bubble this year, but I mean that wouldn't made much of a difference because they went undefeated anyway.
Doing what he's supposed to do, he's being a team player. He's not the number one option to me.
So I just think that the whole offense should revolve around Anthony Davis. Welcome to this episode of the Tell It How You See It podcast. I got a special guest today from Decatur, Georgia, Dunwoody High School, Morehouse College. This is Hometeam Brandon Leak. This guy, man, from 680 The Fan, from Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 12 a.m. You can catch this guy, Hometeam in Hamilton. But we're gonna get into how did you get started as far as sports media?
First of all, Dante, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it, man, and I hope I learned something because I know you're going to teach me something.
Oh, yeah, I'm teaching
before I get out of here. I like to learn something every day.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you how you see it.
You know what, man? I'm the luckiest guy. I am one of the, if not the luckiest guys in media and in radio. I started out years ago. I was in college and, back that up before I was in college working at the United States Postal Service. Decided I didn't want to do that, so I took a job at a bank, and the bank would pay you if you made A's and B's. They had a great tuition reimbursement program. Got to Morehouse College, made A's and B's. The bank would pay for it if you worked an 8-hour shift and you made A's and B's. So I started working at the bank, which is now, it used to be Wachovia Bank, now it's Wells Fargo Bank. And on my lunch break, I would listen to the same radio show every day, every single day. And heard something on the radio I didn't like one time. They had a guy filling me in. He wasn't from Atlanta. He was a New Yorker. We're actually really good friends now. And he was a New Yorker. He was saying something bad about the Braves, and I just couldn't take it anymore. So I called in, read him the riot act, and said, hey, man, you the problem with Atlanta. We need people from Atlanta, for Atlanta, that knows what they're talking about the teams trying to do well, and that's what's wrong. We don't have enough people like that. And he said, well, all right, big boy, if you think you can do better, why don't you come down here? I'll be there. So he invited me to come down, and I think his initial plan was to kind of embarrass me or make a joke out of it. And what he didn't know is I listened every single day, same time every single day. He used to do the sports updates, handed the sports update to me without telling me, and said, all right, you think you can do so well, why don't you just go ahead and do it? So we get ready to go, and they hit the sports update music out of the commercial spot, and he handed it to me, but because I listened every single day, I knew how they did things and how long it would take. So he hands me the sports update, and it was Falcons beat the Raiders 43-6. Falcons number was 5 sacks, 5 turnovers. Falcons down with 4 wins on the season. Braves make some moves in the offseason. Hawks just signed 7 people. And when I finished, I said, that's Brandon Leak. That was before they started calling me Hometeam. I'm Brandon Leak filling in for this sucker right here on 790 Zone. Oh, we had some fun after that. So we're actually really good friends now. And I always say one thing leads to another. And what that allowed me to do, I was still in school at the time. I asked the producer when we got done. We had a lot of fun. They asked me about my opinion as a fan and some of the teams. And when I got done, I said, hey, man, we have to do the intern around here. Talk to the producer. He said, well, you need to talk to me. I said, okay, I want to talk to you. What do I need to do? I can, come in on the weekends. I got to go to school in the morning and work at night, but I can work on the weekends. And if you have somebody that's out, I can maybe rearrange my work schedule. And one thing led to another. Started interning on the weekends, then started doing updates on the weekends. Then they allowed me to cover Georgia Tech and the Atlanta Braves on the weekends when they needed some help going to the clubhouse or the locker room. Then a position came open in the week that was flexible with my schedule. So I always say one thing led to another, and a phone call and an opportunity has me here talking to you today.
Cool, man. Well, man, I appreciate you coming in, man, and we're going to get started. Falcons got a win today over the Las Vegas Raiders. What do you think about that?
I like it. Hopefully it's what we'll be seeing a lot more of in the future. The Falcons need an identity. And what they did, today took advantage of every mistake that the Raiders made. The Raiders aren't a great team. They aren't a bad team. They're an average team. You're supposed to beat the average teams and the bad teams if you're not a great team. The Falcons aren't a great team yet. And they took advantage of it. 5 sacks, 5 turnovers, and every time the Raiders put the pig on the floor, every time there was a sack fumble, you were able to score. They didn't do anything fancy. Matt Ryan threw 2 touchdowns. Think about this. Falcons scored 43 points. Matt Ryan threw 2 touchdown passes, and Julio Jones and Todd Gurley didn't play. That's a fantastic afternoon. So hopefully that will help to identify some talent and help just to bring some sort of a personality to the Falcons. The Falcons are up and down. Sometimes it's the defense, sometimes it's the offense, sometimes it's neither, sometimes it's both. And hopefully they just build an identity. If you mess up, we can put the ball in the end zone, and the defense is always going to be coming after you.
Man, I hope Raheem Morris come back on the staff. Some kind of way y'all got a position for him.
I think what he's done is he's earned an opportunity to get a job. When I say a job, it might not be with the Falcons. And I say it because Arthur Blank and the Falcons have a problem. Their problem is people don't believe like they used to, and when people don't believe, they don't spend money. And so when you have a money problem in sports, that's something you have to address immediately. And that's one of the things Arthur Blank did years ago when he bought the team, when Mike Vick took over. And Arthur Blank caught a lot of flack from the other owners in the NFL at the time, but he sold tickets for $10 a game. You can't get into a high school playoff game for $10 a game. He was letting folks spend $10 a game to come in and see Mike Vick play in the stadium, but he was trying to build hope, build winning, make it fun. And I think Raheem Morris's problem is, even if he were to go 4-1 the last 5 games.
I'm not saying a head coaching position. I'm saying
a
defense coordinator, linebacker coach, something like that.
Yeah, like I said, I got to stick to. He's earned an opportunity to have a conversation because Falcons need to start over. They're going to get a new coach. They're going to get a new GM, and those guys are going to have to have the latitude to bring in their own people. So Raheem Morris, if he could show that he could stop Tampa Bay twice, stop the Saints at home, stop Kansas City on the road, maybe that would be enough maybe to sway somebody for an extra conversation. But to the point I was making, they have a hope problem. People just don't have the hope that they have with the Falcons, and they're going to need somebody to come in and make everybody believe once again.
Well, hopefully you get a job somewhere if you don't get it.
Yeah, he's been a head coach before with Tampa Bay for 3 years, so I think he's proven. And Matt Patricia just got let go in Detroit. They're probably going to let Gase go in New York. So there's going to be some jobs that open. I think he's going to get a job somewhere in the NFL.
What do you think about Eric Bieniemy for the Falcons?
I think he should be candidate number 1. And my only fear is you ask him and he doesn't want to come. There's something about the Falcons. He doesn't think there's enough. He doesn't think there's enough time.
He's going to have his choice.
And he's going to have the pick of the litter, particularly if they go deep in the playoffs again. He's going to have say-so. So he would be my first choice to sit down, give him a 6-year contract where he doesn't have to worry about a 3 or 4 year deal.
Right.
Let him know you're going to be here. His plays work. He's calling the plays in Kansas City. He would be my first selection if Arthur Blank can do it right now, which he can't. He's going to have to get permission. As soon as he does, Eric Bieniemy needs to be number 1.
Okay, what about the Julio contract, man?
Boy.
Because, I don't think you're getting your bang for your buck.
We're going to have a tough decision to make, and that's what business is, making tough decisions. Julio Jones has another 3 years. Julio Jones is over 30 years old. Julio Jones is showing that he is not as healthy as he once was, and next year he will be making $21 million. You don't want to go too crazy, but you just won a game where you scored 43 points and Julio Jones wasn't there. Matt Ryan has shown when Julio is there, Calvin Ridley's there, Calvin Ridley's not there.
He's a Pro Bowler this year.
Whoever is there, Matt Ryan, if he has time to throw, has been able to put points on the board. It's going to be a really tough decision. Do you trade a guy who is the best receiver you have had or may ever have for a chance maybe for 1 or 2 years with an offensive coordinator that might be able to get it right? Or do you trade him and that $21 million and put some of that money to the defense when you know you're going to have some more draft picks coming in this year, and it's probably a little bit easier to find 1 or 2 pieces offensively than a lot of heavy lifting you got to do.
They haven't been hitting on draft picks. They let go of Tack. Just let go of Tack McKinley. mean, Vic Beasley didn't work out.
But that's the old guys picking.
Yeah.
You got some new guys picking and a new coach picking. What does that mean? The old guys pick Tack McKinley. The old guys pick Vic Beasley. The old guys pick some draft picks where the defense hasn't been good. You got to get a new guy.
What do you think about the corner? What do you think about it? What do you think about the corner?
I think, A.J. Terrell has been a surprise and one of the best young players in the National Football League as a rookie. And they did hit on that. You don't miss all your draft picks, and Thomas Dimitroff and Dan Quinn did do that. But A.J. Terrell is solid. I think we do have a franchise corner going forward for the next 5, 6, 8 years. How do you build on that? You probably need to go defense early, defensive end again first, and then probably cornerback on the other side a little bit later.
Roll the dice on that defensive end again.
We're back where we started really the last 4 or 5 years. Yeah, you need a defensive end, you need a cornerback, you need a quarterback, you need a left tackle. If you don't have those, you can't play football in the National Football League.
Right, starts in the trenches.
That's it. Big people win the football game.
Right. What about the Hawks, man, and the additions they just made as far as, I'll go one by one. I'm going to start with Chris Dunn. And I know he's going to give you something defensively. I'm not sure about offensively.
Well, he can handle the ball, good two-way player. Defense was just an absolute must this offseason for Travis Schlenk. I had a chance to talk with him last week, and he wanted a lot of things accomplished, and he did that. Chris Dunn really is a piece of that. You got a guard who can come in off the bench. He is a veteran. He is tough. He can play defense. And I think a lot of people are concerned about what's the starting lineup going to look like. Who's going to start? Where's Cam Reddish? I think where people need to focus is not on who starts, but who finishes. And Chris Dunn can be part of the unit that finishes sometimes, depending on what the opponent is putting out on the floor.
Okay, you mentioned starting lineup. I'm going to get back to the free agency, but I want to mention this starting lineup. I want to suggest a starting lineup.
Okay.
At point guard, of course, Trae Young. At the 2, Bogdanovich. At the 3, Gallinari. At the 4, Collins. At the 5, Capella. What you think about that?
That's good. And that's what I tweeted out initially. But they have made some promises and had conversations with Danilo Gallinari. They don't see him as a 3. They see him as a stretch 4. And so they also told him he was brought in to back up John Collins. So Collins will be our 4. Capella will be the 5. I like Bogey at the 2 guard position. Trae running the point. The question is, who's the swing man going to be? Is it going to be Cam Reddish? Is it going to be DeAndre Hunter? Who are you going to be? Lloyd Pierce.
Not redhead.
Well, you could go with Herter, but see, Herter and Bogey are more similar than not. It's just Bogdanovich handles the ball better. So when you're talking about a guy who can shoot the 3 and handle the ball, Kevin Herter needs a little bit more help from the screen game.
Shoot the thing like that.
He can shoot the ball, and the funny part is his percentages shooting the 3 about on par with Bogdanovich. Bogdanovich is a better ball handler of the 2. So when he's trying to start the game, trying to start the third quarter, I think you go with Bogey as the guy that you're probably going to start at 2. And so the 3 position is it Cam? Is it Herter? Is it somebody off the bench?
Sound like a young guy gonna be like it's outside some defense gonna be right there. It's outside DeAndre Hunter gonna be right there.
Who's gonna play defense? Trae has to get better with his defense.
Oh, that's not gonna happen.
Or you could give up, like a lot of people have said, look, that's just not what he does. You have to make up for his deficiencies.
That's why you got Chris Dunn. That's why you got Rondo.
That's why you got Rondo. That's why you got Chris Dunn. That's why you drafted Okongwu. You drafted and got a lot of defensive players. Clint Capella defensively. So I think they're good with a good mix of veterans, youth, defense, shooting. Who's the 3 man? Who's the 3rd man? And that'll be interesting.
It's gonna be DeAndre Hunter.
It could be because he really had a better season than a lot of people would like to give him credit for. He's just not a personality guy, and a lot of us were focused on Herter and Cam Reddish and Trae, but DeAndre Hunter had a really, really good rookie season.
I look forward to the future. Do you think it's a playoff team?
I think so now. I think it's
what seed?
A 5 seed. Ooh. And I'll just say that just
not home court advantage, but right there.
Well, you got to say who's coming out. There's always somebody that falls out.
Yeah, it's weak, so I mean,
so
it can fall anywhere between 5 and 8.
Exactly. So look at who do you expect to be at the top? Milwaukee's going no place. the Kevin Durant
I don't live in
experience.
Milwaukee, so I'm with you on that.
Okay, Kevin Durant
That
experience.
won't work out.
But it kicks off, and they're going to be a playoff team.
Of course.
Doc Rivers, they're going to kick off in Philadelphia.
I don't believe in that either.
That's 3 teams there, 1, 2, or 3. Then you have your Boston Celtics. That's a very good team.
Yes,
So there are 4 teams right there. Are the Hawks better than any of those teams? Right now, I would say they're not better. Can they compete with those teams? Yeah, I think they could. So I'm thinking a 5 seed, maybe a 6 seed, and then you have to just figure out how the pieces fit, how many more games. They only won 20 games. Could they win 35 games this year, 40 games,
That'll make the playoffs in the Eastern Conference.
and really be able to set the table?
And if they make the playoffs, you think they win a series? They
You
get
know-
to the second round?
What is more important, winning a series or getting playoff experience? Because if you're the 4 seed, or say you're the 5 seed and you lose to the 4 seed, I think you can learn from that. Obviously, you want to go to playoffs and win. You're not going to do that, with just a bunch of young guys, and that's why I was glad they got some veterans on this squad now. But I think expectations should be to go. I think there are steps to becoming a champion. There are 4 steps. You blow it up, you get some young talent. And you try to develop. Step 2, you get some free agents to come in and help you. Step 3, you add a superstar to hopefully a superstar you have. And then step 4, you win. So I think they're in step 2 right now, and they have to figure out how to get that next piece, that next superstar to want to come here. I think the most encouraging side,
They done spent all the money now.
well, you spend money, but you also trade some folks.
Yeah, they got some trade bait now.
So you have some assets that are attractive. Rondo, Gallinari,
Contracts.
but Bogdanovich, Capella, those are players that other teams will want to, other playoff
And
teams.
trade deadline.
So I think the most important thing is you got a player like Rondo, who's a champion, who is a veteran, who's been in the league 14 years. He could go anywhere. He decided to come to a team that won 20 games. Must be something he liked from the pitch or something he liked from the
I think
talent.
like that 15 million.
Oh, and something he liked in his pockets
Yes.
too.
Yes, sir.
That all fit in. But I think Rondo could have gone to Miami. He could have gone
15
somewhere.
million.
Probably not for that money, but he could have
He
gone
got the most money here.
He could have gone somewhere where he could have won maybe a championship more readily.
He got 2 already.
Well, what do you want? Do you want the money and the chance to win? Do you want the chance to win and the money?
Once you got them 2, you want that money. You want that 15 million.
The most important thing to me, Gallinari and Rondo wanted to come here. Even though you had the money, a lot of times people won't take bad money to go lose
Right.
and to go be a part of a 20-win team. That tells me they don't expect to be winning 20 games this year.
Gallinari, man, if he can stay healthy, man, he can get you 20 points a game.
Shoot those threes, be open and be ready, and get the rebounds that make a difference at the end of the game.
Stretch for it. That's the idea they got for him.
That's what they said. And they told him he was coming here to back up John Collins. So clearly on the front end, he knew what was coming in.
I got to talk about John Collins because don't you think that's a good trade bait, man? Trade deadline, because I don't think y'all gonna re-sign him.
The question is, what is his worth to you? John Collins coming up on the end.
I'm not paying the max, and that's what he wants.
The problem is he's looking around the league and he's looking at some of the guys who aren't producing like he is. You look at Gordon Hayward getting $134 million, and you start to look at even De'Aaron Fox,
He maxed out.
who I like. Is he a max player? To me, a max
I don't
player
think he
is
is.
a superstar player.
Trae Young.
If you're not a superstar player, and John Collins is a guy, it's going to be hard because he's going to be a double-double guy, and you're going to tell a double-double guy scoring 20 and 10 or 20 and 11, you're not a max guy. When he's looking around the league, seeing guys put up numbers not like he's putting up, and they're getting more money, but he's not an all-star. So what do you do with a guy who's a 20-20 guy on your team, but he's not an all-star, and he's not doing some of the other things, putting the team on his back like other guys in the league?
I think you trade him.
And that might have to be an unfortunate conversation. He's only owed $4 million his last year. There's no way this franchise is going to let him walk out of the door for nothing. So either he'll get a contract extension or they will trade him.
Talking before season.
Yes, there's no way they'll let him get to the end of his contract, then try to renegotiate. There's no way. He'll either get his contract this season redone or they'll trade him.
Okay. And then Bogdanovich, we hit on that a little while, but I want to expand a little while on it. A little more. As far as the 3-point shooting, that he's going to bring to the Hawks, man. I think he's phenomenal.
Well, the Hawks were the worst 3-point shooting team in the league. The worst. 30 teams, they were 30th. They were shooting 33%. Now they crunch numbers. You play the numbers the way you want to, but they crunch some of the numbers. And if you take the guys that are on the team now, the Gallinaris, the Bogdanoviches, the Chris Dunns, you look at those guys, and if you added them to the team last year, the Hawks would have been 12th in the NBA in shooting. So that's a big jump from dead last to almost top 10. So you've made an incredible improvement, particularly with the style you want to play. You want to be a three-point shooting team. You want to be a fast-paced shooting team. Trae Young was able to almost average double-digit assists, but he was on a team that missed a lot of wide-open threes. So if you put things in perspective, Trae Young could be a guy who's averaging double-digit assists this year because you know he has some guys who can make some shots.
Easily. Well, we gonna. I just want to get your. It's early, but I gotta get your NBA Finals as far as your Eastern Conference. Let me get your Eastern Conference Finals pick first. Your two teams.
I'm going Eastern Conference Finals. I'm going to go with the Philadelphia 76ers.
Doc Rivers, huh?
And the Brooklyn Nets. That will be. Yeah, I think if Kevin Durant, we don't know what version of Kevin Durant we're going to get, if he'll be the same, if he'll be affected by his Achilles. But I got to figure they're going to manage his minutes in the regular season and save his heavy lifting for the postseason. I'm not betting against that guy. He might be the second best player other than LeBron James when he's on a basketball floor on the planet Earth. If he's in the playoffs and he has Kyrie Irving or maybe he gets James Harden, he's going to be there at the end.
That's pre-Achilles Durant you talking about.
I don't bet against people. I haven't seen him afterwards. We haven't seen him afterwards. We don't know how he's going to respond.
It ain't going to be pretty.
He's a guy that can make his shots. He might have to adjust his game.
A lot.
Yeah, he might have to adjust his game.
That point average is coming down.
That's okay. I'd be okay with that. At his age and his injuries
Still gonna be able to shoot it now.
He shouldn't be
cut like he used to.
He shouldn't be the guy doing all the heavy lifting. Kyrie Irving should be driving the bus.
Can he stay healthy?
He's another one. He's got something to prove. But they were a playoff team without those guys. So remember, Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving were a part of the playoffs, and the Brooklyn Nets went to the playoffs. So you gotta figure if those guys can be there at the end, they're gonna be there at the end. And I'm not betting until he lets you down. And really, he didn't let you down as Achilles did. I'm not betting against Kevin Durant.
I would.
Okay.
I don't believe in the Nets.
Okay.
And I don't believe in the Sixers. Let's talk about the Sixers.
So who you got?
I got a rematch from last year. I got the
Same
Sixers
thing. Okay.
and the Miami Heat.
Okay.
Miami Heat, they didn't lose that much. They lost Jay Crowder, but they gained Avery Bradley. So I mean, they didn't lose that much. I think they're gonna come back and.
I'm not taking anything away from them. I wonder how much bubble life helped them, where they could just go out and play. When you get a home crowd advantage, let's see how that team handles that. I would like to see that this year coming up.
You believe in Doc Rivers. You believe in Embiid. He's not gonna stay in shape. You know that, right?
Well, I mean, he doesn't have to be. See, I'm a playoff guy. The regular season, I'm not saying it doesn't mean anything. Seeding really doesn't mean anything when you got some of the best players from first, second, third, fourth. Get in.
I'm a playoff guy too, but Embiid, he's gonna give you about 60 games a year, and he's not gonna show up in the playoffs. That's his problem.
Well, he's got youth and size. Now he has a new coach. What will Doc Rivers be able? And Doc Rivers has a lot to prove too. He now gone to a team.
That resume is not looking good.
He's gone to a team now that has some talent. What is his coaching imprint on that team? I think he has enough to get him over the hump. I think it was a tremendous letdown what happened this year in LA with the Clippers, and I think they were too up and down. I think maybe that's a lesson he needs to learn. He can't allow teams to be too up and down.
Ben Simmons still can't shoot.
He can still get to the rack though.
He can.
He can still get to the rack.
What you gonna do about that shot?
Nothing. You drafted a guy with no shot. You drafted a guy that can't shoot threes.
All right, you got Steph Curry. That was a good addition. As far as fitting.
Yeah.
Some good shooting.
So you swapped that. They needed a little bit more shooting this past go round. They got rid of Al Horford in his contract.
They had to throw a first round pick in there.
That cost them, but you worry about that down the road. First round pick won't help you per se this year, especially since you're already a playoff team, way I'm looking at it. So we'll see. I'm just a believer that Philly is missing a little something, and I'm thinking that Doc Rivers might be the little something to get them over the hump.
Yeah, Western Conference Finals pick, who you got?
Western Conference Finals, I'm going to have LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers, and I'm going to have Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors.
Still, even without Clay.
I think LeBron will be able to get him without Clay, is what I think. I think the Lakers are going back.
You think they're going to make it without Clay?
They're going to make it to the Western Conference Finals without Clay, is what I think.
I think they got a good team without Clay, but I don't think they're going to be Western Conference Finals.
We're going to see.
I like Kelly Oubre. that addition. You know what I mean?
I think Andre Wiggins is a guy who is going to thrive in this environment because even though he was picked first, a lot of guys picked high might have the talent, but they don't have all of the ingredients to be the number one guy, to put the team on his back, to have all of the expectations that come along with that. He now just gets to play. The pressure won't be on him. It's going to be on Steph Curry. Now he's got some legacy stuff with no KD and no Clay. Now you're supposed to be the greatest shooter that's ever lived. What are you going to do?
I will tell you this. That's a decent lineup.
Oh, yeah.
Started Wiseman at the center, Kevin at the power forward, Uber at the 3, and Wiggins at the 2, and Steph at the 1. I mean, that's a pretty good lineup.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the same style of play. What are those players going to be able to deliver? We've been used to seeing that same crew with their playoff moxie, and they knew their roles at the end of those playoff games, what to do. Now, with a Steph Curry-led team from start to finish, no Clay, he won't be coming back, no KD, what is that team going to look like? I think they're going to be good enough to get to the Western Conference Finals. I'm just not betting against LeBron James.
All right, I'll tell you my pick. I'll lock the Los Angeles Lakers in for one of the spots, and then the other spot is going to be between the Phoenix Suns and the LA Clippers.
So the Clippers rebound, find a way to bounce
I think
back.
they got better with that Serge Ibaka addition.
That's going to help them definitely.
Yeah, because I think that's an upgrade over here.
Yeah, Harold was I call him a do-dirty guy. He did the dirty work. If you can find somebody who can score a little bit, and Ibaka is a guy who's a smart rebounder, I agree with you.
He can shoot the 3. He gonna protect.
He's just a little bit more versatile. Harold couldn't shoot free throws. Outside of 12 feet, he was really nothing offensively.
And he got did against Nikola Jokic.
Exactly. And once you had to bring him outside the basket, he really becomes a liability. So I agree with you. I don't think that's a crazy pick. I would like to see how the Clippers respond with Kawhi having to respond.
I think they're gonna respond well with Tyronn Lue.
Yeah, I think that'll be interesting to see.
Because Tyronn Lue ain't having that with Paul George.
No, he'll get in some people's stuff and push some buttons a little bit different.
I think that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, he'll definitely do that.
Yeah. But as far as the Hawks, man, I mean the Braves, we got a pitcher, 15 million. We need some pitching. But what you think was our downfall as far as losing the series to the Dodgers?
I think, and Charlie Morton's been a guy that the Braves drafted years ago, and now he's back.
Okay.
I think ultimately, and I hate to say this, but two things. One, we should have had. You get a team down 3-1, you're supposed to finish them off. Right. Period. That's just, you find a way to finish them off. I think ultimately we got beat by a better team, and we left the door open. And the famous quote, we let them off the hook. Right. We let them off the hook. A 3-1 went to 3-2. You started seeing base running errors that killed rallies. They had very good pitching, so you had to jump on them. And the Braves' bats were good enough to put pitchers in bad situations, but bad base running blunders, just enough to leave things open, bad defensive plays, and it was just enough for the best hitting team in baseball to take advantage of it, and they got it to 7 games. Anything can happen in 7 games. The better team won. So next time you get up 3-1, you got to finish bums off. You can't leave them open, or else you got to pay a price.
We got a good team coming back next year.
Yeah.
I think we at least get to the National League Championship.
I like the way the GM is approaching it too, man, because things are different now with the pandemic. Baseball lost a lot of money. You can't just go out and spend the money. So basically what you have to do is look at 1 and 2 year deals. That's what he's doing. The good thing is a lot of the talent on the Braves is locked in for a while. You don't have to worry about them going anywhere. You're starting pitching. Mike Soroka, Max Fried. You found a way for Ian Anderson to show up. So those are guys you don't have to pay yet. You already paid Ronald Acuna Jr., 10 years, $100 million. That's a deal. Already paid Ozzie Albies. So you are in a good spot. The only thing you got to worry about now is how much you will give Freddie Freeman in a contract year. 150, 190, 220, I don't know how much. And then do you want to keep Marcell Ozuna if the DH stays in the National League? Because that dude is perfect for the DH.
He's a free agent. Yeah, he's going to want a lot of money. But he's good. He's a good piece.
So what's the number? It's 17 million is what he got this year. He outperformed that. You give him a little raise, maybe make it 20 million for 1 year. The pandemic impacts everybody. So he just can't just go get whatever he wants from anybody, and he can't just go and get it and win. So if he can get paid and be in a place where he can win, I think he should really consider, maybe opening a few more million and sticking around with the Atlanta Braves.
Cool. What you think about last night? Did you check out the Mike Tyson versus?
I didn't see it live, so I saw versions of it. You know,
I will tell you my opinion, but I'm gonna let you go.
I saw it this morning. You have to give athletes who were born in the 1960s a lot of credit in that sport for going out and doing what they did. Yeah, it was a draw. What did we want to see? They were two older guys. I just look at guys who clearly were the best to ever do it, not letting themselves go, where at least they can still get out there and put on somewhat of a show.
Right. But Roy Jones was getting popped with them body shots, and actually that wasn't a draw. That Mike Tyson won it.
A lot of people are saying that. Yeah, Mike should have gotten a decision.
Because Roy, he didn't really throw no power punches. He threw the little jab, and every time Mike would get in there, he'll clinch. So I mean, that's all he was doing the whole time.
Same thing a lot of people said when Roy was in his prime. He didn't take a lot of punishment. He didn't throw a whole lot of punches. He was very strategic. He didn't have a whole lot of power until he got up to the cruiserweight division, and that's just a difference of styles. But a lot of people are agreeing with you that Mike should have gotten a decision.
Right. It wasn't a draw.
What do you think about Nate Robinson?
That knockout. He fell straight on his face, man.
Yes.
That's what happened when basketball players get in the boxing ring.
Yeah, only thing I'll say that if you're smaller than a guy and you're not a professional, you probably should have something in your hand if you're gonna fight him.
Right.
You know, boxing is just not something you can do if you're not a boxer.
Right.
So I'm just glad he didn't get hurt. Got to give him credit for getting in the ring because it's not easy to box. But yeah, he got put to sleep, and Jake Paul probably is going to put that on his YouTube channel.
Well, as far as Mike Tyson, he said he want to come back, so I think that Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield fight might happen.
You know, people would pay it.
Yeah.
People would pay $50 to see that one more time. I don't know what kind of shape Evander is in.
I think he's in pretty good shape.
I don't think he is in as good a shape as Mike. If you watch Mike when he was working out up to this fight, he's in fantastic shape.
Right.
I don't know what kind of shape the real deal is in, and I don't want him going in there and getting hurt. I don't want him going in there and getting hurt.
Right. Do you know, what about Errol Spence next week, December 5th? Do you know a little bit about which way champion of the world?
Yeah, I haven't watched a lot of his fights.
Okay.
Entertaining guy, and I like the fact anytime I grew up a boxing fan. I used to watch boxing as a kid with my granddaddy, the Friday night fights.
Right.
Used to come on USA and we watch. So anybody who can just carry the torch for the sport of boxing.
He's the one.
You want to get behind that guy. So yeah, that is something that I would definitely be interested in investing in time and in money.
I'm a huge boxing fan, and Errol Spence is my favorite boxer on the planet, and I think he's gonna take care of business next week against Danny Garcia on December 5th.
Yeah, he certainly is confident.
Cowboy State.
I think he's going to win. It's a big venue too.
Yeah, him versus Terrence Crawford in the future. I got my boy Errol Spence all day.
Yeah, he's exciting to watch. Excitement needs to be brought to boxing. I think MMA has taken away from boxing over the last 10, 15 years. And there are some talented guys that can go out there and throw hands. And they need support. This country needs to see good boxing, I think, once again.
I think they put on some good fights lately.
Yeah, you just have, the problem is you got to go find it, or you have to be hyped into doing it. We used to just fall into the Roy Jones, fall into the Mike Tyson.
You see a lot more on TV as far as the local TV. Free TV. But I appreciate you coming, Brandon. Man, this is gonna be the end of the show, man. To Tell It How You See It podcast. I got Hometeam Brandon Lee. You can check this guy out on 680 The Fan from Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 12 a.m. And I appreciate you coming. And I'm gonna sign off. And do you want to say anything?
Hey man, make sure you check us out. The Hometeam in Hamilton show, 680 The Fan. Yours truly, College Football Hall of Famer Joe Hamilton, all-time leading passer at Georgia Tech. For The Fan, 9 to 11. Please have me back. Please have me back.
I appreciate you coming.
All right, I'm gonna take you. I'm gonna hold you to that.
Oh, I appreciate you.
All right,
and you will come back, and I'm gonna hold you to it. It's on camera.
I'll be back.
I appreciate it. Yes, sir. Signing off.
Wonder where you are. 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 Wonder where you are.
Digging up resources, hidden dells are coming off the E-course. In the booth, I'm killing shit. I ain't having no remorse. Job was pulling up in a gray Porsche. I been on the track like a racehorse. I was looking for it in the dark. I seen a lot of people get scarred. We was in the cut, you might call it alley. They was smoking midget, we was smoking Cali. I was in the bed, then I made a rally. I was in the trap riding on some rallies. This is no cap, I was paying salary. We was moving weight, we was counting calories. We was counting up, trying to make a way quick. Pizza Hut started making plays. Peanut butter, good size, 8Js. Trying to make money 5-8 ways. I been dying now, I'm flying to Jamaica. White boy party, I done died 8 Jaegers. Fuck that party, I keep my mind on my paper. Fuck that shit, I got the mind of a taker. Fuck that bitch, I got a queen and an acre. BLM, I'm going black like a raider.
Wonder where you are. Oh, 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 oh. Wonder where you are. Wonder where you are. Wonder where you are. Oh, 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 oh. Wonder where you are. Wonder where you are.
Running, trying to get up on it. Running in the city, running in Saucony. 7-9 running, got a couple ponies. 7-1 money, wrecked it last summer. Going too fast, trying to rake in all these commas. Looking for it, I done dug a couple tunnels. Running workout, done been a whole runner. Blue flame, we done been some whole stunners. West Atlanta put malice in my mental. Got my apartments looking like Allen Temple. Call my partner, I'm coming back in a rental. Call my lawyer, I got a stack for his dinner. 2 degrees, I got clear communication. 2 degrees, I'm still trapping like I'm baby. Mama clueless, she just happy for a baby. I didn't choose it, the shit just gravitated. I been underground, I been in the basement. I been trying to dig up a large pavement. I be spitting this shit for real, y'all just be spitting y'all shit for entertainment. I ain't got no limit, catch me in a tank. Stack that money up till that bitch faint. Hop on top, then we shoot off like a stop. Free as fuck, tell me where you are.
Wonder where you are. Oh, 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 oh. Wonder where you are. Wonder where you are. Wonder where you are. Oh, 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 oh. Wonder where you are. Wonder where you are.
Yeah, up there. I ain't have a bus fare. Yeah, now I got a 10 squad. I can't get enough pounds. I can't do enough math. Tough scene when I seen on the bluff out. All 14 hanging with the rug rats. We all in the huddle asking where the love at. We putting money in, hoping that it come back. In our mind, it's always come.